The July heat pressed down on my parents' backyard as I flipped burgers on the grill. My daughter, Maya, sat on the patio, her laptop balanced on her knees, fingers flying across the keyboard. "Still at it?" I called over. She nodded without looking up. 12 years old and already more focused than most adults I knew. My sister Jennifer arrived late, her minivan releasing her 3 kids into the yard. Tyler was 14, Madison 12, and Brandon 10. They scattered toward the pool. "Sorry we're late," Jennifer said, not sounding sorry. She carried store-bought potato salad and wore oversized sunglasses. Traffic was insane. It was Sunday at noon. There was no traffic. I just smiled and went back to the grill. Jennifer had always been competitive. Everything needed to be compared, evaluated. When I bought my first house, she bought bigger. When Maya was born, Jennifer spent the hospital visit talking about how advanced Tyler had been. "Where's David?" Mom asked, meaning Jennifer's husband. "Golf tournament. Big client thing." Jennifer waved her hand dismissively and headed straight for the cooler. The afternoon progressed normally. Kids splashed, adults traded stories. Maya stayed on the patio with her laptop. "What's she doing over there?" Jennifer asked around 3 o'clock. "Working on a project." "A project?" "It's summer vacation." I shrugged. "She enjoys it." Jennifer's expression shifted into that mix of skepticism and superiority. "You know, too much screen time is terrible for developing brains. Madison only gets 2 hours a day." I didn't take the bait. But Jennifer wasn't done. She walked over to where Maya sat. "Hey, sweetie," Jennifer said. "What are you working on?" Maya glanced up briefly. "Code." "Code? Like computer code?" "Yeah." Jennifer laughed. "That's cute. Tyler took a coding class last semester. Got an A. He could probably help you if you're stuck." "I'm not stuck," Maya said quietly, her eyes back on the screen. I started walking over, some instinct telling me to intervene, but I was too slow. "You've been on that thing all day," Jennifer continued. "Why don't you take a break?" "I need to finish this." "Finish what?" "It's just a hobby." "You're 12. Jennifer's tone had shifted to irritation. Maya didn't respond, her fingers still moving across the keyboard. That's when Jennifer made her move. "Actually," she said, reaching down toward the laptop, "Tyler's tablet died and he's bored out of his mind. Why don't you let him use your computer for a bit? My kids need it more than you do right now." Maya's hands stopped. She looked up at Jennifer with an expression I'd never seen on my daughter's face before. Something cold and calculating. "My kids need it more?" Maya repeated slowly. "Well, yes. You've been hogging it all day and Tyler is actually interested in technology. He wants to check his gaming stats." The entire patio went quiet. Everyone was watching. Maya smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "For what?" she asked. "They can't even turn it on." Jennifer's face flushed red. "Excuse me. Your kids. They can't turn on my laptop. It requires biometric authentication and a 16-digit passkey. Even if they could get past that, they wouldn't know what to do with what's on here." Everyone froze. Jennifer's mouth opened and closed. "That's incredibly rude. I'm your aunt and I'm asking you nicely to share." Maya closed her laptop and stood up. At 12, she was already almost as tall as Jennifer. "This is why Dad bought it." She walked to the patio table and opened the laptop. The screen showed lines of code, graphs, data visualizations, and a complex dashboard. "What is that?" my mother asked, moving closer. "It's an application I've been developing," Maya said calmly. "It's a resource management system for small medical practices. It tracks patient scheduling, inventory, billing cycles, and automates appointment reminders. I started building it 6 months ago." The silence was deafening. "You built that?" Uncle Robert asked. "He owned a dental practice. I'm still working on it. The version I'm finishing today will be submitted to the Youth Technology Innovation Competition next week. First place is a $50,000 scholarship and mentorship with software developers at." Jennifer's face had gone from red to pale. "You're 12. I know how old I am." Maya's voice was perfectly even. "I also know that Tyler failed his intro to coding class. Madison told me at party. She said he copied his final project from YouTube and still got a C." "That's not," Jennifer started. "And I know your kids can't turn on my laptop because last Thanksgiving Tyler tried to use it while I was in the bathroom. He guessed the password wrong 5 times and locked himself out. I had to reset the entire security system. I stared at my daughter. When had this happened? How had I not known? Maya turned the laptop around so everyone could see the screen better. This module here handles insurance verification. This one manages supply reordering based on usage patterns. And this section creates automated financial reports. Uncle Robert, you said last month that your office manager spends 6 hours a week just on scheduling conflicts. My app would reduce that to about 20 minutes. Robert leaned in, his eyes wide. Are you serious? I'm happy to show you the demo. I've been testing it with Dr. Patterson down the street. She's a pediatrician. She says it's already saved her practice about 15 hours of administrative work per week. Dr. Patterson? Mom asked. Our neighbor. She's also one of my references for the competition. Maya pulled up another window showing an email exchange. She's agreed to provide a testimonial about the real-world application and effectiveness. Jennifer found her voice, though it came out strangled. This is ridiculous. You expect us to believe a 12-year-old built professional software. I don't expect anything, Maya said. I'm just explaining why I can't let Tyler use my laptop. The source code alone represents about 800 hours of work. The testing database has real patient data that Dr. Patterson anonymized for me. It's password protected and encrypted. Even if your kids could turn it on, which they can't, I'd never let anyone access this without supervision. 800 hours? I heard myself say. Maya looked at me and for the first time, I saw nervousness flicker across her face. I know I should have told you more about it. But you bought me this laptop for my birthday and said I could use it however I wanted. So I did. My head was spinning. I'd bought her the laptop because she'd asked for it, shown me her grades in computer class, and convinced me she was serious about learning programming. I thought she was taking online tutorials, maybe building basic websites. Not this. Let me get this straight, Uncle Robert said slowly. You built a medical practice management system from scratch. At 12. The database architecture is adapted from open-source frameworks, Maya said, like that was supposed to clarify anything. But yes, the application layer, user interface and integration protocols are all original code. About 42,000 lines so far. Tyler had wandered over from the pool, dripping water on the patio. I don't get it. What's the big deal? It's just a computer program. Maya looked at him. Tyler, can you code in Python? I mean a little. We learned some in class. Can you implement a RESTful API? Silence. Can you write SQL queries to manage relational databases? More silence. Do you understand object-oriented programming principles, asynchronous processing, or how to secure authentication tokens? Tyler's face was bright red now. Shut up. You're just trying to sound smart. I'm trying to explain why you can't use my laptop. Maya's voice remained calm. This isn't a toy. It's a professional development environment. And yes, I do sound smart because I've spent 800 hours learning how to build something useful instead of playing video games. Jennifer exploded. How dare you speak to my son like that? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You've let her become arrogant and antisocial, staring at screens instead of developing normal social skills. Jennifer, my father said quietly. It was the voice he used to use when we were kids and things had gone too far. Maybe sit down. I will not sit down. She's being incredibly disrespectful and nobody's correcting her. She's answering your question, I said, finding my voice finally. You asked why she couldn't share her laptop. She's explaining. By insulting my children. By stating facts, Maya said. I wasn't trying to insult anyone. Tyler asked what the big deal was. I explained. The competition judges will ask me similar questions. If I can't answer them clearly, I won't win. Competition, Jennifer scoffed. What competition is going to take a 12-year-old seriously? Maya pulled up another window. The Youth Technology Innovation Competition is sponsored by the National Science Foundation and Google. Last year's winner was 15 and developed an algorithm for predicting flood patterns. She's now working with NOAA. The year before, a 13-year-old created an app that helps identify skin cancer early. It's being tested in clinical trials. She scrolled down to show a list of past winners. Their ages, their projects, where they were now. Stanford. starting their own companies, getting patents. The preliminary judging is based on submitted code and documentation, Maya continued. If I make it to the finals, I'll present in Seattle in August. The judges are actual software engineers and technology executives. They don't care how old you are. They care if your code works. Uncle Robert was scrolling through something on his phone. I'm looking at this competition website. The application requirements are insane. You need letters of recommendation from technology professionals, documentation of your development process, security audits if you're handling any kind of sensitive data. He looked up at Maya. You have all this? Dr. Patterson wrote one recommendation. My computer science teacher wrote another. And I hired a freelance security consultant to audit my code last month. It cost me all my birthday money, but she found 3 vulnerabilities I'd missed. You hired a security consultant? I asked weakly. You can find them on freelance sites. He was really nice. She also gave me some advice about how to improve my encryption. Jennifer was still sputtering, but no one was paying attention to her anymore. My mother had pulled up a chair next to Maya, asking questions about how the app worked. Uncle Robert was taking notes on his phone. My father was looking at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Tyler had slunk back to the pool, his face burning. Madison and Brandon were watching from a distance, whispering to each other. So when you said you were working on a project, I said to Maya, you meant this. The whole time. She nodded. I didn't want to say too much until it was done. What if I couldn't finish it? What if it didn't work? I wanted to have something real before I told everyone. This is definitely real, Robert said. Maya, I'm serious about wanting to see a demo. If this does what you say it does, I know at least a dozen dentists who would pay for something like this. The competition rules say I can't commercialize it until after judging, Maya said. But if I don't win, or after I do, I was thinking about licensing it. I've been reading about how to set up an LLC. Of course she had. Jennifer grabbed her purse. We're leaving. I don't have to sit here and watch my children be humiliated by some show-off who thinks she's better than everyone. I don't think I'm better than everyone, Maya said quietly. I just work really hard at something I care about. Come on, kids. Jennifer shouted. Get your stuff. Now. Tyler, Madison, and Brandon scrambled to gather their things, shooting glances at Maya that ranged from resentful to awed. Jennifer herded them toward the minivan, her face tight with anger. At the car she turned back. You know what? I hope you lose. I hope you get to that competition and realize you're not as special as you think you are. Real life doesn't reward arrogant little girls who talk back to their elders. Maya didn't respond. She just sat back down at her laptop and resumed typing. Jennifer slammed the minivan door and peeled out of the driveway. The rest of us stood in awkward silence for a moment. Then Uncle Robert laughed. Well, that was something. I'm sorry, I said to Maya. I should have stepped in earlier. She shrugged, not looking up from her screen. It's okay. Aunt Jennifer's always like that. Still. And I'm sorry I didn't know more about what you were doing. Maya, this is incredible. Now she looked up and she was smiling. A real smile this time. You really think so? Are you kidding? I'm terrified and proud in equal measure. My mother came over and hugged Maya from behind. When do you find out about the competition? Preliminary results in 3 weeks. Finals in August if I make it. You'll make it, Robert said confidently. And when you do, I'm buying everyone tickets to Seattle. We're all going to watch you win. Maya ducked her head, embarrassed but pleased. I might not win. But you might, my father said. And that's what your aunt can't stand, the possibility that you might actually be as good as you think you are. We finished the barbecue with a lighter mood, though Jennifer's absence left an obvious gap. Tyler had forgotten his water bottle and none of us felt like calling to return it. Later, after everyone had left and Maya was still working on her laptop at the kitchen table, I sat down next to her. Hey, I said. Hey. I'm proud of you. Not just for the app but for how you handled yourself today. She saved her work and closed the laptop. I didn't mean to make Tyler feel bad. I know. But sometimes the truth is uncomfortable. Aunt Jennifer's really mad. Aunt Jennifer's really jealous, I corrected. There's a difference. Maya considered this. Do you think I'm arrogant? I thought about how to answer that. I think you're confident. You've earned the right to be. That's not the same as arrogant. Tyler couldn't answer any of my questions. No, he couldn't. But you already knew that before you asked them. She had the grace to look slightly guilty. Maybe a little. Next time, maybe dial it back just a touch. You can be right without making someone else feel small. Okay. She paused. Dad. Yeah. Thanks for buying me the laptop. I smiled. Thanks for using it for something amazing. 3 weeks later, Maya got the email. She'd made it to the finals. Top 15 out of over 3,000 applicants nationwide. I called everyone to share the news. My parents cried. Uncle Robert immediately booked flights to Seattle. I didn't call Jennifer. But somehow she heard anyway. The next family gathering would be interesting.